Attention, duelists. Phoenix here with Cross Christ once again, bringing you the
Yep.
after action report on our two different decks that we ran of the same archetype in our Ghoti versus Ghoti match. Ghoti versus Fish. So we'll get into mine first, I guess, just the general deck list. Card I have that I never played against you: one copy of Supe, three Butuniful, three
hmm
Maxi, three Paces, two Schiff, two Zep, three Ash Blossom, three Silent Angler, three Lifeless Leafish, two Ixeep, two Mineruka, two Supe Duskwalker, two Snopios, Terraforming, three of the Deepest Depths, two Called By, three Imperm. And in the extra, I have a White Aura Dolphin, two Aeronapos, one White Aura Whale, Adamantibator Risen Dragite, Askan the Bicorn, Guoglim the Spear, Baron, Supreme Sovereign, Ghoti of the Deep Beyond, Abyss Dweller, Stealth Kragan, IP Masquerena, Sprite Elf, and Mech Knight Avramax.
I thought about Avermax, but that's not a bad tech in there.
Yeah, the reason I put
Especially,
Avramax in there was because I'm running Elf, but Elf
mm,
itself has not come up super often. So, given where our last match went, I'm probably going to swap that out for some Kragan spawn.
yeah, they're decent when you're able to get them out. The issue is, I kind of feel like the level 4 consistency is trickier than getting the synchros off.
Yeah, it's definitely the case, but at the same time, if you absolutely brick, having level 4s is good.
Right, I can't disagree with that. Because realistically, in my deck, so my deck is running 3 copies of Butuniful, 3 copies of the Leaf Fish, 3 copies of Paces, 3 copies of Schiff, 2 copies of Zeb, 2 copies of Exeep, 1 copy of Enoch, which in hindsight he can probably be
That's the
ditched.
Manta Ray one, right?
Yes. And then 1 copy of Snopios. And then as far as hand traps go, I've got 3 Maxi, 3 Ash Blossom, and 2 Dimensional Shifter now. In the mirror, that really doesn't help out too well, but here we are. Spells, I had 1 Raigeki, 1 Lightning Storm, 1 Terraforming. If I had more copies, I'd run more of them, but I only had 1 copy of the Most Distant Deepest Depths. Um, 1 Called By, 1 Cosmic Cyclone. That one probably could have been Feather Duster. 2 Infinite Impermanence, 1 Ghoti Chain, 1 Ghoti Cosmos, and 1 Ghoti Fury. And
So,
then, as far as the extra deck is concerned, for Ghoties, I ran 2 copies of the Orion Pulse, 1 copy of Asken, uh, 1 copy of Gulglim, and because I pulled them, 2 copies of Ghoti of the Deep Beyond.
I had to craft mine.
Hmm.
Think. I don't remember. I made the video yesterday. You think I'd remember?
Um, then the other synchros that I'm running in here, I also have a copy of White Aura Dolphin, 1 Desert Locust, um, 1 White Aura Whale, and 1 Baron de Fleur. For Xyz, the only things that I was running then was the single copy of Stealth Kragan and 2 copies of its spawn. And then as far as links are concerned, I had 1 copy of Coral Anemone and 1 copy of Abyss Keeper.
So I
So,
was running Abyss Keeper, but I kept finding it to be not helpful because most situations where I made it, I would forget that I made it using Silent Angler and couldn't use its
right.
effect to summon anyway.
Yeah. Um, that said, most of my practice with this deck was done in solo mode, so Abyss Keeper wasn't the worst option for that one, especially with how he kept feeding into of the deepest depths. Sorry, deep beyond. But in practice against not an AI, you're right. It does seem to be a bit of a waste of space. So I'll agree that he probably could be dropped from the deck then. Coral Anemone is what I have mixed feelings on.
Well, you are Phantom Marincess.
Well, yes, but for all intents and purposes, it is generic water support because it needs two waters to activate. The only Marincess oriented effect it has is that when it's sent from field to graveyard, it takes a Marincess in my graveyard and puts it back in the hand. Otherwise, it's just summoning stuff back from the extra deck to climb. Which, in hindsight, with only two Link 2 monsters in the deck, it really doesn't amount to too much.
Right.
That said, I like to think that if he hadn't had the Glim that one game, I would have had it. But yeah, we see how that played out.
That being said, we were both running Glim.
True. I just never had a good opportunity to use it.
I
And
think it's
honestly,
the
that
weakest of the Ghoti.
I agree, and I was honestly considering dropping it. However, when you utilized it against Deep Beyond, it's just like, all right, that is exactly why you run the card.
Yep, it is
It's
something
like
that
if
can't be
there's a
punched
big
over.
bungus that you can't get over, that's what you use. One thing that I'm kind of surprised never came up in any of these games was Baron de Fleur.
I,
Now, I know the Goaties, their effects require you to bring out fish,
yeah,
so that'd have to be something on your turn.
the type attribute locking is the biggest reason Baron didn't come up. But at the same
Right.
time, I also could have gone for Baron, but instead opted for Supreme Sovereign just for a bigger body.
Right. And actually, Baron's the reason why I was running Desert Locust in the deck, because if I had a level 4 on the field and brought him out, then there's a potential Baron play plus pop something that's sitting in your hand.
Right.
Now you said you're running 3 copies of Leaf Fish, but only 2 copies of Beautiful.
3 and 3.
Oh, it is 3 and 3. Okay,
Yeah. The biggest
that
difference I
actually
think between our decks is I'm running the Supes and Mariuka.
right, which the Miryuka only came up the one game. Don't get me wrong, it
It's a
pulled
good
its own
extender.
weight there. It is. I'm not going to disagree with that. Yeah, otherwise, I think our deck lists are pretty darn. Well, the extra deck is the other thing that's dissimilar then.
Yeah, I'm definitely going to
Um,
be taking the links out of mine and opting for more Kragan stuff. And I might put the level 10 white aura monster in it. I'd have to craft it Bahamut or Bahamut.
was that an ultra rare?
Yep.
Yeah, I was going to say, if I would cut anything from my deck, Baron. Baron would stay in, but I think Desert Locust could come out, and then my 2 Link monsters, I agree, could come out. Um, I'm a little conflicted as to what to put in its place, though. Because Supreme Sovereign, that is an option. Same with Drag Knight. But another part of me was thinking, you know what might be nice? Another copy of White Aura Whale and Askin. Because unfortunately, those whales, they pulled their weight, but once they were gone, that was it.
One that I've seen still on some lists is Ravenous Crocodragon Arctheus because it is a synchro fish, but it is a level 9, so it's a bit weird in that regard because everything here is on the even levels.
I was gonna say that was one thing that I was considering when deck building. Is just like, all right, with how goatees are all even leveled, don't put any odd levels in here.
Yeah, but just looking at synchro fish, it is literally just the goatees and the white auras.
Right. Oh, that's right. There is one other card that I did not bring up in my deck list. I have 3 copies of Abyss Shark. Now that one I'm having a bit of a mixed.
I was running that and I took it out.
Yeah, I was. Well, I'm running 3. I don't think I'd want to take it out completely, but maybe drop it down to 1 or 2 because that does help out with the Kragan plays. Because otherwise, with the deck, your only options to play Kragan are Leaf Fish and Ixeep.
And angler for me.
That's right, you do have the Angler in the deck.
Another solid difference between us, I was running none of the goatee traps.
I do think Goaty Chain helped me out the one game. That said, I do feel like they are a little too slow for the deck, which is kind of saying something.
Yeah.
Um,
I I don't think there's any way to actually search them.
no, you're right, and I'd agree that they could probably be taken out. I was
Aonok
actually
can
look.
search it, but I think Aonok is the worst goatee.
I agree because go. It
It's
bricked
effective
on
if
me a
it's
lot
normal
when I
or
was
special summon, but it's a level 6 and no way to special summon itself.
exactly, yeah. So that I think is one that could easily be dropped from the deck then. Um, but yeah, the other thing that I noticed every game, if someone opened with Snopios, they won. Well, actually, no. What there are two things there. You open with Snopios in your hand, and you go second. Now, this is keep in mind this is for a mirror match here, but it was consistent in that regard.
Right.
So, and Snopios, he's a good way to get your little dudes bringing themselves back the following turn. Then I was a little hesitant on him because I had one copy of him and Enoch. Um, but yeah, he's got a solid way of getting that engine going.
Nopios Zep is the really only way I can think of to reliably get Zep off. And being able to go straight for an 8 as opposed to the others having to start crawling up from 6 is a big bump.
And that's where I disagree, actually. Because game three there, I think I told you that I was targeting the Leaf Fish instead of Snopios
Yes.
with Stealth Kraken for that reason. Um, if you would have on your following turn, well, if it hadn't been for the spawns, first of all, um, you would have been able to. I believe it was your shift that was in the graveyard.
Yep. I could have gone into
So
Whale
yeah,
or
you would have been
Ascon or Googlim, but most likely Whale.
right, right. Um, but the other thing, then, if you would have had the leaf fish left alone, leaf fish then, sorry, plus shift, that goes into the Orion Pass.
Yep.
Then you get your Zeb. Then you go into your 8, but then you have Orion Pass's graveyard effect to get another fish back to hand. So it's more of an extension than if you use the start with the level 6 synchro rather than start by going into the level 8s. See what I'm saying?
I see what you're saying. It's all very interesting and new, and it is unfortunately competing with the rest of the meta that already exists and will for a while.
Right. Before we even had our matches, I told you that yesterday was not a good day for me.
Yep. I
Because what was it?
I had a stupid match yesterday where my opponent uh I thought they were just playing like typical tier stuff because what they were doing, so I maxed them, of course.
Uh
Then
huh.
they started doing light sworn stuff, and they just maxed seed to try to mill me out.
Did it work?
Oh, I surrendered before they could get the credit for making me deck out. But yeah, it's like, well, I hate this more
Right.
because like I was actually playing on their turn. Like I'd gotten out 4 of my monsters onto the board on their turn 1. I was like, all right, yeah, I'm gonna have a great turn 2. It's like, oh no, they're still just summoning things and maxing me out. Great, hate it.
No, I hear you. Yeah, typically over a day, because I'm balancing a bunch of things, I'll try to get anywhere from 3 to 10 matches in a day.
Hmm.
Match one, that was against a 5D's protagonist.
You say,
You say synchro climb deck, and it's just like uh, I'm playing Ghoti. I don't have a chance here. Game after that, they opened with Inspector Border set two, and those set two were two solemn cards.
yep,
It's like, what do I do against this? Game after that, that was the Invincible um,
Blackwing.
Blackwing climb, and then after that, I think it was one of the trap decks. Labyrinth, that was it. And then it's just like, funnily enough, the one that I was finally able to stop was where I was able to go turn one and start with Kragan, and it was against a Sword Soul deck. So I guess it kind of has that going for it, but against those other four, it was just so disheartening. Just like, I don't want to like this deck because it can go off rather well between Beautiful and Leaf Fish. Those are 6 cards in a deck that are 1 card combo starters.
Yeah,
If I would put a pin on this one. I would call it Baby's first combo deck because it's relatively simple, but at the same time, it's not overbearing.
Yeah, I don't think it's as annoying as certain other combo decks, or necessarily even has that many points where your opponent could interrupt you and completely stop you.
Right. And again, that's where I would call it Baby's first combo deck. It's fun. It's not really an oppressive deck. I mean, what sort of disruption does the deck Okay. White
What
Aura Whale. Yeah, that's a
White
lightning
Aura,
storm.
Oscon, Deep Beyond, Kragan.
Right. The thing with Deep Beyond, though, I would say is that delays you at the same time too, because if it's nuking everything in play,
I've actually not
well,
been super impressed by the times I have been able to get out Deep Beyond, because I feel like I'm not able to get it out with a huge body reliably.
that's where this mirror match I think really helped it shine there. Because what did you have 10k when you swung at me?
Yep.
Yeah, I think in some of the solo mode practices I've done with this thing, typically all the higher that I get it up to is probably about 4500. And even then, it can do better when you bring back things like Schiff and Paces just to do the other plays then.
Right.
So it's losing attack power in that regards, but you're getting other bodies on the field with them then. So that's it. I don't want to disparage the deck, but because I do think it's a fun deck, I just I think it's out of its depth right now.
Yeah, and I don't think they're it going to be getting any more support anytime soon, which is a
That
shame.
was the thing that surprised me because I was looking at them on TCG Player yesterday. It's just like, wait a second,
Yeah, the
there
most
have only been
expensive is the ultra rare Ghoti of the Deep Beyond is not even $3. I'm looking at it right now.
uh huh.
Like, this deck is cheap.
It is. There are only 13 different cards, and it only came out in 2 sets. So that was Power of the Elements, which I believe was last summer, and then Darkwing Blast was last autumn.
Yeah, it was all quarter 3 stuff.
Right. So and yeah, so it's been 2 sets and no new support. So I'd give it at least another 2 years before they think about doing anything with the deck.
Yeah, I think the strongest thing they could do for it is give it another card that summons itself back on your opponent's turn, but maybe loosen up a bit on the restrictions on what it allows you to summon. Maybe just water synchros even.
Right. I do have to say that was one thing that sort of surprised me about the deck because all the level twos are, well, they have the recursion ability, but they're also tuners. Then they have one level 4 monster and then two level 6 monsters. I was originally thinking, all right, this is going to make the deck tricky to run, but surprisingly, it wasn't hard to synchro climb with it.
Yeah, with the generic support from Leafish and Beautiful, once you get a 6 out, you're kind of just set to keep going.
I'm just thinking of that one meme of Queen Elizabeth knighting someone, and I'm just thinking Beautiful and Leafish honorary Ghoti cards.
uh,
Kind of like how tour guide's an honorary Burning Abyss slash Phantom Knight card.
yep. I award you the highest honor I know, honorary archetype.
uh, but yeah, it's a fun. And I guess the other thing that I like about this is it's. I have to be very careful because I don't want to set anyone apart in the audience here. It's not an anime girl deck, and it's not a light or dark deck.
Yeah, it's not chaos support and it's not waifu bait.
Exactly.
It
It's just
is
like
ugly space fish.
exactly.
I mean, for God's sake, look at them.
They're cute. No,
Eronipos
I get.
has multiple tongues.
Yeah. That said, they're definitely distinct as far as their aesthetic goes.
They are. One of the things that actually just occurred to me when I was looking at the stuff being released, this is a TCG exclusive card. So for players in Japan playing Master Duel, this is their first exposure to it. It didn't come out for
Really?
them.
Huh.
Because if it's a TCG exclusive, then OCG never got it. As far as I know, that's how it works.
Maybe I'm not sure exactly how the
This is more
TCG.
a way for me to praise Master Duel as being able to bridge the gap between OCG and TCG and let players do multiple things. Because TCG, we always get OCG stuff eventually, but
Exactly. It's just 6 months after the fact. The other day I was looking at that Earthbound stuff that was coming out. It's just like, no, I'm not even gonna think about it right now. Same deal with the Salamangreat stuff. It's just like, that's
yeah,
next year
yeah, that's
process
Christmas.
problem. Exactly. It's not even gonna be out in any tin anytime soon. Why do I care?
And something about Red Dragon Archfiend's getting another structure deck, I think, or a structure deck, but I have no idea when.
Right. Is it gonna be the next one, or is there one in between that's coming out?
I I haven't heard anything about a different one, so I think it is going to be that. I just don't know
Because how
when.
often do the structure decks come out? Is that every 3 or 4 months? I think.
I want to say 3 and 4.
Because I'm trying to remember last year. Last year there was the Albaz deck, the Crystal Beast deck, and I think the year ended with what you call it, Beware of Traptrix.
Yes, and Dark World came out last year too.
Dark World, that's it. So okay, yeah. So it's typically every 3 months, I would imagine then.
Right,
So the
and
next thing that would be, well, hold up. When did Beware of Traptrix come
I
out?
think that was
In
this year.
this, you know what? I think you're right. That would have been January. So
Yeah,
we're
that was
due
definitely
for one,
early.
aren't we? But I can't imagine they'd. This is why it feels like, all right, there should be something in between Traptrix and Red Dragon, but I don't know what it would be.
Looking at it. Looking at the Yu-Gi-Oh card game.com structure deck featuring Jack Atlas coming soon. Release date 9/22 September.
And that's in the states. Okay,
And Beware of Traptrix came out in February, so I think we might only get 2 structure decks this year.
really?
Yep.
When did the Dark World deck and when did the Crystal Beast decks come out? Because
Uh,
Crystal Beast, I'm pretty sure that was between September and October of
yeah,
last year.
in 2022, the Albaz deck came out in April, Crystal
Uh huh.
Beast came out in September, and Dark World came out in December.
What was before Albaz?
Cyber Strike, Cyber Darkness, and Dragon.
That's right. Was
And that
that
was in
also in?
October.
So it's only three per year then. Huh. They're not on a consistent schedule with that at all, now that
No,
I'm thinking
because the
about it.
gap between Albaz and Crystal Beast was 5 months, and then
Uh
three
huh.
months to Dark World. But the gap between Traptrix and Jack Atlas is 7 months.
Right. I don't think they'd make a TCG exclusive structure. No, they've never done anything like that.
I know there are structure decks in the OCG that never came to TCG.
That is true. What, were you listening to Hyde's audio stuff?
Yep.
Because, yeah, what was it? Some, like, light fairy
Yeah, Counter
oriented one?
Fairy,
That was it.
some Parshat stuff. Wave of Light.
Okay, there we go. That was a weird one.
It's
You ever
all
think
so
about how
strange.
the OCG is testing ground for TCG prices?
Yes and no, because the OCG and TCG are such different games, as
Right, but I'm
evidenced by
wondering.
they have Max C.
True. But at the same time, they have different rarities than us, too.
That's true.
Because I thought it was kind of interesting, because Konami with the Cashier stuff, I saw this comparison. A lot of the Cashier stuff was like rare, super rare, maybe an ultra rare too. But then there's a bunch of secret and ultra rare stuff when it came stateside then, which made it harder to access. Then so it's just like, why does Japan get the cheap stuff but we don't? That sucks.
Yeah, I'm not looking forward to Kashtira dropping in Master Duel.
How long do you think we have before that? Next month, or do you think we have one more month before then?
Uh, Fenrir, and I'm looking at it now. A couple of them came out in Darkwing Blast, but others were in Photon Hypernova. So I wouldn't be surprised if we got a gap where the next pack or so might have the new Galaxy Eyes stuff, and then we get Kashtira.
That
Give another month of
Sounds
tier
about
limit
right.
just dominating the game.
I'm just waiting for the new ninja stuff to drop because that should be because that all came out in Dark. I actually know what that came out split between Darkwing and Photon also.
It could be
Though
Galaxy
most of
Eyes
it
with
was
ninja stuff, and then
that
Cashier
I'd
is
be
the next
fine with.
big one.
Right. That's what everyone's going to be saving their gems for.
I I still haven't played tier limit. I don't. I've practiced with it a bit because I got the cards. I don't like playing it. I don't like playing against it. I enjoy none of it. I love slash hate the matches where I do my commentate thing and I see a tier limit mirror and it's like player lost due to time limit. Like, you idiots. Read your cards. Know what they do first. Don't just click yes.
I do have to say that's kind of a nice thing about Master Duel. It's I don't. This is gonna sound like another weird thing to say. It's kind of handholdy in what it says what you can and can't do, so you can't just like assume that it's gonna work out a way. It kind of gives you a line that you have to follow at least.
Yeah. The other thing that I would be looking forward to would be Pirelli, whenever that drops.
I heard that's actually doing really well in the OCG right now.
I do kind of regret not getting it right when it came out because I'm looking at it right now. Just
Oh,
the
it's
card
pricey.
Pirelli, when like on pre-release, I want to say it was like an $8 card. Now it's $40.
I think that was the same way with the adventure stuff, actually.
So that's gonna
I
be
think.
one that's cheaper in Master Duel. So that's where I'm gonna get it.
There you go. Oh, I guess that's something that could be coming out soon in Master Duel too. All the what was it? The May no.
Amazing Defenders stuff. Well, we still
Didn't those
have
come
more Darkwing Blast and Photon Hypernova to get through. So let me. Oh no, Hypernova came out after Amazing Defender. So we still have more from Darkwing Blast we have to get through.
hold up. What was the set that Purelli came out in?
Amazing Defender.
It was?
Yep.
Okay, what was this Maze of Memories? That's the one that I'm confusing with.
Yeah, Maze of Memories.
Yeah, having amazing and maze of is what's throwing me off here in the names.
Here. Nope, that's wrong. That to get to Blast. Look at Darkwing Blast. See what came out in it. In
Are
Darkwing
the ends?
Blast, we can expect things such as the Bestials, Lady Labyrinth.
Oh wow, I forgot. That means new Albaz stuff should still be coming around soon.
Yeah, because that stuff's still not done. The
You know
most
what?
overrated card that ever was, at least in recent memory, Destructive Daruma Karma Cannon. There we go.
Not gonna lie, my Sacred Phoenix is gonna be afraid of that one.
There's the ninjas you're looking for. There's Ghoties. There's the For Hires that just came out. So yeah, we just got a bit more from Darkwing Blast that still has to come out, and then we'd move on to either Amazing Defenders or Photon Hypernova.
All right. Hey, there's something I was wondering about. Since you are a for hire player, then why
Yep.
didn't you want to do that instead of Goaties today?
Um, because the best lists of cards that include For Hire are Runic For Hire,
Oh,
and I will not do that to you, brother.
as much as I appreciate that, and I think your for hire deck does pretty well on its own. I know you
It
said
did
that you weren't
years
the big.
ago.
I know you said that you weren't the biggest fan of Donna, but Rex, I know you run 3 copies of that in your IRL deck, right?
Yeah, but it's been forever since I've done anything with For Hire RL. I'd have to practice with it a lot.
I remember the last time we played it,
Yeah, didn't work well.
even with the handicap.
Yep.
Salad's still good. It's a nice
Pain.
rogue deck. Oh, that's a rumor I actually heard going around for the next ban list. Update Jammer might be the next one that gets banned because it enables the access code FTK. But if you take Update Jammer out of the equation, it's going to take a little longer for access code to win.
A ban list with thought put behind it in my Yu-Gi-Oh trading card game? I don't think so.
Oh, you
What's
weren't a
next?
fan
They're
of the
gonna start limiting the tier limit cards.
Well, hold up. Wait.
Can't they just limit? Like I'm talking about in Master Duel's ban list. Just Send them to the
Oh,
Shadow Realm like they did in the TCG, please. Sick of it.
I'm trying to remember. The only one tier limit that was technically banned was Kit Colors, right? Everything else was limited to one.
Yes.
Okay. Gotta make for a weird deck. I have no idea how something like that functions.
It doesn't.
It, I guess at that point, all you could really use it for is an engine and another fusion. Use it as a sort of engine and an Albaz deck is all I could really think of.
Yeah, just mill support.
Yeah. I mean, not like Albaz needs anything more, but here we are.
Yeah, Albaz is about as set it's gonna be, which is another thought I'd had about the Stardust Synchro Warrior stuff that came out in this selection pack. Stardust Synchro Warrior is kind of fine where it's at. It doesn't need anything else.
Right. That said, the Excel Stardust Dragon I'm kind of interested in because going back to last month, it can be used in some Melfi plays.
Hmm.
I
I
was
think
gonna
I've
say,
seen
not
some thumbnails about that on the old YouTube.
how's that
Stuff
Melfi or the
about
X?
like your opponent Melfi, your opponent starting and like ending on Baron or something.
Hmm.
Some clickbait stuff like that, where someone gets the perfect opener and explains
Right.
how Melfi is now tier one competitive.
It is not tier one competitive. I was playing with it a lot more last month. Don't get me wrong. I'd gotten better, and it is a fun deck. It is not the best thing out there.
Yeah, at least when I make something showing Amazon beat tier limit, I explain it's because I'm the best duelist in the world, not that the deck is the best.
Hmm. Still haven't seen any other Amazoness players.
No. I've actually haven't played much Master Duel as of late. Not as much as
What
I
have you been
should
up?
for being the greatest duelist of all time.
Greatest duelist of all time needs to take a break every now and then.
Yeah.
So where's your focus been more then?
I was playing a lot of Pokemon Infinite Fusions off stream.
That's right. I did watch your videos on that one. And what was it? You were playing some Marvel Snap too. Did they have something new come out?
Marvel Snap. I actually like how quickly Marvel Snap will rotate because a lot of games have like the dual pass in this and how it lasts for like 90 days or whatever. But Marvel Snap
Yeah.
runs on a clean like 1 month battle pass rotation that's super easy to like finish what you can do for a week in it. And it's
Okay.
like, all right, every month here's new cards. Here's like a shop where you can get a free card from like one of the later sets just for whatever. Here's a rotational shop where you can use another in-game currency to get more advanced stuff that we're coming out like a new card every week. So it's constant updates on that.
Hmm.
So I like how much that updates and it's pretty free to play friendly.
Right. Okay.
I want to go back to
Unlike
Infinite
what
Fusions and do
Hearthstone's
a.
become.
Oh yeah, Hearthstone became a nightmare. I'm glad I dipped out of that when I did. Yeah, I'm gonna come back to Infinite Fusions and do a full randomizer playthrough because it has settings to do that automatically, which is great.
Fair enough. I'm just still waiting for Pokemon Home to update for Scarlet and Violet.
Oh, Pokemon and the fact that Game Freak doesn't try.
It's not just Game Freak that doesn't try. Apparently, Pogo isn't doing so hot either.
Oh, Pokemon, and you thinking you don't have to try anymore. They don't,
I
but
saw,
stop thinking it.
I saw the meme of Hank Hill laughing in hell the other day. Just like Game Freak laughing at their fan base, making new Pokemon every 3 years so that they can never really catch them all.
Another thing I just realized is going to come out soon in Master Duel is the new Abyss Actor stuff.
Ooh,
That'll be
that's
fun for me.
right. I can't remember that. Was it a field spell or the continuous spell that made your opponent's first spell effect?
Field spell.
That was the field spell. Is that coming out or is that already out?
That's already out, but it's going to be adding Super Producer and Liberty Dramaturge.
All right. I know you were a
Dramatist.
little. I know you were a little on Super Producer at first. What do you think about it now?
Super Producer, I think, is good. I like where it's at. I still think that the archetype is suffering from hyper director and a lot of themselves locking themselves into just abyss actor stuff
Hmm.
when actual powerful decks don't have these restrictions. So it's a little annoying in that regard.
Right. So if next month in Master Duel we get the conclusion of Darkwing Blast with the ninjas, additional Albaz stuff, and Abyss actors. Think you're gonna break the Abyss actors out for next month?
I just might do that. Actually, I think let me check my collection here to see how many of those I took apart how long ago. This actor and I still have the Mellow Madonna and Superstars, so I pretty much got everything I would need for that, other than whatever new stuff comes out.
There you go. So, at what point do you decide you start disassembling your cards then?
I look at how long it's been since I've played an archetype, and if I've ever played an archetype that something is sitting at, or if I expect it to be hit on the ban list. Because I'm sitting on a couple of tier limit cards that I'll expect to get more dust from if they ever get banned or limited.
That's fair.
Or if I'm really just short on dust, I'll just look at the collection and see like, oh, what recent stuff do I have that I don't care about?
Right. That's fair.
And then I get annoyed because I'm sitting on 6 copies of The World Legacy, which I got from the stupid freebie legacy pack thing, and I can't take them apart.
Yeah. I don't think Master Duel's ever gonna do anything about that unfavorable feature.
Yeah, it's nice to get free cards, but could at least make them good.
Right. Man, we really trailed off from Goaties here.
Yeah, well, we
So the
kind of
good, I would say,
didn't have that much
it
of a deck difference to break down.
right, but the archetype as a whole, um, kind of breaks the mold as far as artistic design, as well as being a relatively simple combo deck. Like I said, if you wanted to teach a new player how to combo, this is what I would start them with. There was a thought that I had about this playing it yesterday. Um, I hate gotta be ripping on it here a little bit. It is basically a worse trap deck. At least trap decks have the spell speed advantage to them here. Goatees need to go first to get the setup going, and if they can't get that momentum going, then they're gonna be hurting later on.
Or Snopios.
Trap decks, what's that?
Or Snopios.
Right. Trap decks like Altergeist, Labyrinth, and Trap Tricks, they at least have additional reactionary effects to go with their trap cards then. Now both of them do both Trap decks and Ghoti really do need to go first. The trap decks though get that additional advantage off of the monsters with the traps, I feel. Or
Yeah.
I guess in Labyrinth's case, Silver Castle.
I think Ghoti is a perfectly well balanced archetype, which means it's not good. Or
What do
rather,
you
it's
think
not
it
amazing.
right. It has
It's
disruption in it, but I hate to say it, in this day and age, if you don't have any negates in the deck, you're in trouble.
yeah.
I might make I might make an argument and say that Salamangreat might be an exception to that, but I'm not holding to it.
Yeah, Salamangreat is just summon efficiency,
Right.
and it
But
leaves
going
the
back to
space
our first
for
video here when going over the different Cybers decks, um, G Golems have negates, Marincus now has negates, and that's shot them up in viability significantly. Code Talkers have always had some sort of interactivity with your opponent then. Um, Adagnister has a tower, so it doesn't care. And then MathMech needs no introduction.
yeah. Mathmech is the best.
Right. Actually, I will say this. I think where Salamangreat has an edge on them is that it can allow for more hand traps in the deck because of how small the engine is. And that's where its negation power comes from, but it's not actually the archetype itself doing it.
That's fair.
So,
But
all right.
overall, I think
You
we
said there
both
was.
enjoyed Ghoti.
Oh yeah, I absolutely like the deck.
Yeah.
It's just a shame that it's like you said, a little too balanced.
Yeah.
It's like again, your first combo deck. It's a step above playground level. It's It's got some claws, not big ones, but it does.
And it's cheap, at least in real
Yeah.
life.
Well, for now, we'll see how that goes.
Let's be
Actually,
real.
no, it's gonna stay cheap. It's gonna stay cheap.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's no Burning Abyss, unfortunately.
Nope.
So, you said there's something else you wanted to talk with me about then?
Oh, yeah, but we'll do that when I'm not streaming.
All right, sounds like a plan then.
All right. So that's going to be the end of this video. I'm going to finish the outro, then cut to the thanks for watching screen to thank you for watching. If you caught the stream, thanks for that. Catch replay, thanks for that too. Goodbye.
Bye.